This dam is so massive. Scientists actually measured it.
And the planet itself genuinely moves a little slower now.
A change too small to ever feel, and too real to ignore.
Somehow, concrete and steel reached far enough to matter to the entire planet's math. Before any of this, there was just a valley and a river that had never been told what to do. Every ton of material has to reach the bottom of this valley before any of it can start adding up.
For thousands of years, this river went exactly where gravity told it to.
Before that river could be told anything different, this concrete had to be engineered to outlast it.
Every single batch has to survive pressure, and most concrete never has to consider.
Somewhere else entirely, the machines meant to turn all of that held-back water into electricity were already taking shape. Even a tiny imbalance here could shake apart a machine this size. This mix has to reach the valley before it ever begins to set.
Before anything is poured, they have to understand exactly what kind of ground will need to hold this entire structure.
Every truck here is built for terrain no ordinary construction convoy would attempt.
There is no easy road to a project this size, just one that gets steeper the closer you get. Before any of this, people simply lived here, with no idea their valley would eventually be measured against the planet itself. The material has arrived. The valley's story is about to change completely. Every flag here marks the exact line where the old story of this valley ends.
Before anything can be built, and the river itself has to be temporarily moved out of the way.
Everything above solid rock has to go before a single foundation can be trusted. The very first pour of a structure that will eventually weigh more than most mountains. This base has to hold weight that most foundations will never even come close to. Thousands of truckloads, poured continuously for days without stopping.
Precision to the millimeter, and everything above this layer depends on how flat it is right now.
The first true wall of the dam stands up, the beginning of something that will eventually hold back an entire river. The formwork climbs the wall on its own, chasing the height one section at a time. Section by section, a wall that will eventually be visible from space begins its climb. Every bolt here has to hold up more than steel. It has to hold up the entire structure's future weight.
Beside the wall itself, an entirely separate structure has to be built, the one that will actually turn this water into power.
This slab has to hold turbines heavy enough to shake a smaller building apart. Each housing here will eventually hold a turbine spinning fast enough to power an entire city.
Every housing has to be perfectly aligned before the actual turbine ever goes in.
Already, this wall is taller than most buildings most people will ever set foot in. Even the markings here were chosen deliberately, visible from a distance, impossible to mistake for anything else. For the first time, you can see exactly what this entire structure is going to look like.
These gates exist for one reason: to control exactly how much water this structure holds back at any moment.
When this gate closes, it has to hold back pressure, and most structures never have to consider. Almost complete, and already this single wall is starting to redefine the entire valley around it. Hundreds of sensors like this one will constantly monitor pressure along this wall for decades to come.
And with that, the wall itself is finally, completely whole.
Even before a single drop of water is held back, it already looks like it is reshaping the entire valley. Every inch of this planet-scale structure still passes through very ordinary human hands.
Behind every finished section, there is still a construction site, making sure no one gets hurt building it.
One by one, an entire row of machines capable of powering millions of homes takes shape. Somewhere here, someone will eventually watch over this entire structure, every second of every day. Before any water is held back, the entire sensor network has to prove it is watching correctly.
The moment the river gets redirected back to where the dam is actually waiting for it.
Brinked. For the first time, the river meets the exact structure built to hold it back.
Behind the wall, an entire lake begins forming where a valley used to be.
Every meter the water rises gets measured, logged, and checked against the wall's design limits.
And for the first time, water that used to just flow downstream starts generating power instead. The very first lights powered entirely by this structure turn on.
An entire body of water this size did not exist here a few years earlier. From up here, it is almost impossible to believe that all of this water is now sitting exactly where they calculated it should.
Every panel must be finished perfectly, whether it is the first one installed or the very last.
Now this entire structure can be monitored end to end from a single control room.
Soon this wall will not just hold back water, it will glow unmistakably against the entire valley at night. After all of this, concrete, steel, and years of construction, it stands complete. Even now, the smallest detail is never rushed. One by one, the machines that built something this massive now leave it behind. The site that once roared with machines now falls silent. What is left behind is heavy enough to matter on a planetary scale.
For the first time, every single turbine in this hall runs together at full capacity, all at once.
Construction is finished. What happens next belongs to scientists, not builders.
Every calculation, every turbine, every sensor, approved, one final time. Once the reservoir reaches full capacity and a separate team arrives, not to inspect the dam, but to measure something much bigger. Moving this much water this far from the equator genuinely shifts how weight is distributed around the entire planet. A fraction of a second, added to the length of every single day on Earth, small enough to never feel, large enough to actually measure. It is large enough to be seen clearly from space, which is exactly why it was large enough to matter to the planet itself. The people who once lived directly along that river now live beside the reservoir it became instead.
While scientists measure its effect on the planet, this structure is also just quietly.
Most of them come for the size. Few of them leave without hearing about the planet.
For him, this is not a planetary measurement. It is just where he fishes now.
Somewhere inside, the same measurements from the very beginning are still being checked every single day.
Within weeks, what once seemed impossible becomes just another quiet shift, day after day.
Years later, someone always comes back to check the number again, just to be sure.
And every time, the number holds exactly where the very first calculation said it would.
The valley from the very beginning of this story does not exist anymore. This one replaced it.
Most people who visit never think about the planet's rotation at all, then they just think it is impressive to look at.
Some of the people who built this never really left, and they just changed what they were building toward.
At night, it is easy to forget this water is also, technically, part of
An entire region grew up around a structure that, technically, changed something no one can even see. One dam, one reservoir, and a measurable shift in how the entire planet spins.
Every sunrise now arrives, technically, just a fraction of a moment later than it used to. This is where the story started. And this is where it ended up. Something built by hand, large enough to leave a mark on the entire planet. Every single day, it keeps doing exactly what it was built to do. A fraction of a second. That is all it took to prove concrete and steel could reach further than anyone expected. So massive, they had to measure the entire Earth just to describe it properly.
This video is created for education and informational purposes using advanced AI tools and human creativity. All concepts, scripting, and storytelling are independently developed to ensure originality. Visuals and animations are generated or enhanced using AI technologies such as VO3, Meta AI, and Grok AI, while final editing and post-production and completed using CapCut and other professional editing tools. No external created content has been copied or reused. Any semblance to real-world environments, factories, or processes is purely coincidental. All scenes shown in this video are digitally created and do not represent real footage. This content is produced with transparency and follows YouTube monetization guidelines.